So our next speakers, two, we could call them the international data couple. They are both hard workers. Matt not only works for Salzer, but but studies play an important role in his life as well. He started his career at Salzer in England, in West Yorkshire, but worked in China, the US, and Switzerland. On top of that, he gives tutorials and blogs about digitalization. Steffen is a citizen of the world. He's from Germany, but still he moved around a lot as well. And he likes to be on the cutting edge of technology. Their motto is, it is important to work with data, but it's important to center it around a human. Augment a person rather than automate a person. And so I'm very happy to have today here on the stage Matthew Anderson and Steffen Lange from Salzer. Very good, yeah.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Welcome. So your life is full of data. Imagine waking up one day and the electrical supply is down. Batteries are empty. No internet and no change inside for the next 12 hours. What would you do?
So while we talk a lot about digitalization, I think another term that has been born in the last period is digital detox. So I probably use that opportunity with a positive mindset, Aurélie, and take that as my digital detox day. Take my kids out in the forest or to the lake, and then maybe have a nice candlelight dinner with my wife in the evening.
Very nice, very nice.
I think it's a very unfair question. You're asking me to revert to being a caveman when I've only just stepped out into the light again.
A caveman.
However, going back to the previous presentation on happiness, I think that's something really I should work on. Less of the work and perhaps more exploring Switzerland, seeing what that has to offer. So yeah.
Yeah. You've told me you've been living in Switzerland for 4 years,
but two have been in a cave. So
yeah. So we need to change that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But first, we are about to enjoy your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Anna.
Do we have the
clicker?
Presenter?
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's on the lectern.
Thank you. Do you mind if I take that? Thank you.
So, first of all, thanks a lot for having us. Thanks a lot, Anna, for the invitation. And it's really good to be back in person, speak with physical 3D people, and be together. I'm Steffen Lange. I'm leading the data and analytics organization at Salzer. I've been in data and analytics since 15 years, basically since I graduated. And I strive to create actionable insights with data to generate top-line growth as well as bottom-line profitability. And together with me today, our rock star, Matt Anderson.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm Matthew Anderson. Hi, everybody. I'm, first of all, very pleased to be here. It's the first time I've presented to real people in quite a while. So I hope you'll bear with me whilst I adjust. Can you all see the screen? Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm Salzer's technical lead on a number of digital initiatives, which we're going to talk about a little about today. I'm also around 25 years, possibly more, working in information technology and operational technology domains. So I've seen both sides of the equation, really seeing the factories and seeing the IT side as well. And that's areas such as in manufacturing, smart factories, sensors, and so Today, we're going to be telling you about 3 use cases regards Industry 4.0, and then share some of the lessons learned that we've picked up along the way in our journey. Probably the most vital thing that we have learned is really at the center, at the core of these digital transformation, is the need to place the human element. So some slight spoilers there. That's pretty much the last slide. Okay. Before we start, I need to tell you a little bit about our business. It is relevant to the use cases, so please don't switch off. First of all, at Salzer, we are a global company, manufacturing and engineering. We are present in over 160 countries with 3 core divisions. So I'll take you through each of these. The first one is flow equipment. We design, engineer, manufacture pumps and compressors, which are used in a variety of different market segments. So energy, water, wastewater, and what we call the process industries. We have another division called Chemtech. Chemtech are a process engineering company. They build scalable modular solutions that are used in other people's factories and facilities. So there are things like almost like a black box. You plug them into your factory and you use them for polymerization, crystallization, separation technologies. Quite recently, we've been working in textile recycling with, I believe it was H&M, was the company we partnered with, yeah. And then finally, the third division is our services division. So we don't just manufacture pumps, but we also service them. But not just pumps, it's all types of rotating equipment. So pumps, motors, blowers, agitators, compressors, turbines, and macerators. Any rotating industrial equipment, we service it. We work quite closely with our customers to focus on maintaining the life cycle of their assets, help them optimize them through a variety of spares, repairs, and retrofits. I tend to include this slide quite a bit because I kind of like it. First of all, this Industry 4.0 stuff that we've been talking about today, it's far from being our first industrial revolution. Salzer has a pedigree in engineering innovation that stretches back at least 2 centuries, starting with steam power, textiles, diesel engines, and so on. I also include it because we've got our digital products here, which are built upon them. And we're sharing a slide with Rudolf Diesel, which is kind of good for the ego, you know. Okay, should we start with the first story? So the first one is what we call the Salzer Blue Box. This is focusing on our engineer-to-order production. We are targeting our energy customers. What you find in these market segments is they've got a lot of sensors. They've already got data generation, data collection, and also data storage capabilities. And they need that because they need to control these systems, sure. But they also need to keep them for regulatory purposes as well. What you tend to find is they don't really leverage that data. So they're sat on some of this stuff for 30 years and they're not really using it to its best ability. So what we did with, starting with one of our, it was actually a solar power farm in the Mojave Desert. Working with that customer, we built a solution based using their data, arranged a secure transport to a cloud environment, and then we performed our analytics there to help them, not really with monitoring control, because that stuff's already been done before, but looking at optimization of their assets and optimization of their facilities. So that's things like reducing their spend, energy efficiency, reducing their CO2 emissions, targeting things like the remaining useful lifespan of their assets, giving them some guidance there on you've operated that pump a little inefficiently, you've decreased its lifespan by X. If you did this, you would improve it. Also, quite importantly, based on the information we captured, we were able to build machine learning driven anomaly detection methods as well. So we can give them some advance notice of things failing. And in some cases, we could actually work backwards and work out what the mistake was and help them with their root cause analysis too. Could you talk a little about the lessons learned?
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. So sometimes while we are on a journey, we also learn things. And since we're all amongst friends here, I also wanted to share that. And what a journey has been, right? When we started this a couple of years back, remember, Rudolf Diesel was an apprentice in our company. So it's been around for some time. So have our customers. We're talking about quite a conservative energy industry across the globe. So when we started reaching out to our customers, a lot of responses that we got were, you need what? My data? Why do you need my data? I've been 30 years in this industry. Nobody ever has asked me for my data. And while we all know that the sentence, I've been doing this for 30 years, is the killer of innovation, that was a bit the uphill battle we had to fight here. So that made us really, really clear in answering the question, what's in it for me? So really differentiate the value proposition that we're combining here, quite a unique OEM knowledge together with statistical models, machine learning algorithms. And by that, can give our customers a competitive advantage. What was really key here is that we actually created a new role. And I think if you look at the most recent publications, let's say Harvard Business Review, they're being called the AI translators. For us, that has been proving really, really valuable. We called it the equipment optimization specialist. Matt, I hope I have gotten this wrong, this correct. And this is a role that helps customers to interpret the dashboards, the reports they are receiving, and translate that into actions, how they can improve their processes, reduce energy waste, reduce cost, and be more reliable in their operations. This, on the other side, has been really valuable for us because that means we were getting closer to our customers. And with these actionable insights, we were infusing our core business model, which still is selling retrofits, selling spare parts, selling services. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you. Everybody reckon for the second story? Okay.
They're not all asleep yet, so maybe we give it a go.
They are different too, so yeah. The second one, so previously we targeted the energy sector. This is slightly different. This is for our process industries. Process industries, they tend not to have the same level of investment in sensors and data capture. But of course, the reliability of their assets is still important. By process industries, I'm talking about things like pulp and paper, food production, and so on. So if you can imagine lots of pumps and lots of motors, say 100 in one facility in a paper mill, it's that sort of environment. The uptime is important. So they tend to do reliability monitoring, and it tends to be a person goes around with a handheld meter and they note these things down, and they don't really have the continuity. They don't really see the trending of any issues that emerge. It's a very manual process. So we wanted to give them something a bit more automated, but also cost effective. So we designed a condition monitoring sensor. So it's for those who work in the area, it's called a MEM sensor. It measures the vibration and the temperature, which are the two attributes that are useful when you consider the reliability of an industrial asset. We have a wireless mesh connectivity. So again, we've got lots of these assets in close proximity. So having a wireless mesh makes it a lot more resilient for connectivity. And then we send this back through an edge device to our cloud environment. We give alerting for when things are above a certain level of thresholds. And we can give some insights onto the behavior as well over time. What was quite important is that we made it simple for the customer to implement themselves. So we used a QR code to scan and then connect it into the system. But likewise, simple to use as well. So we built a dashboard based on an existing system that they used for a sales portal, sort of a one-stop shop, so they can see their spare parts, their current asset base, and also look at the current status of that asset base, which resulted in better targeted maintenance from our service people, and eventually reducing the cost of the operations. Should we move on to the lessons learned?
Absolutely. So a key thing here for us was building a minimum viable product with an early adopter customer. Now, for MVPs, you really have to balance the minimal and the viable. So what we recognized already during the first weeks was, first of all, a low touch onboarding was key. right? So for that, we created this onboarding process with a mobile app that you could connect to the sensor and onboard it with a QR code, but also calibrate based on the positioning of the pump, because that could vary. So this suddenly imposed challenges on us, a manufacturer of industrial assets, with things like, how do I register a mobile app in an app store? Questions we didn't ask ourselves before. Second main success factor was to think about pairing long-lived industrial assets with short-lived software. So in the very early days, we also put in a device management framework that allowed us not only to see the health status of the sensors, the gateways in the field, but also over the air updated with new upgrades and security patches. And then last but not least, we have to recognize we're just one part in the value chain of our customers. We are a system in a system of systems, meaning we in the early days already provided an API endpoint, so an interface, so our customers could connect again into their IoT platforms and ecosystems.
Thank you. Of course, vibration measurement is important for ships. I think I'll just take a moment to point that one out. Yeah. Okay.
Always the sales guy.
Okay, let's move on to the third story. Third story is a little bit different. So whereas before we were targeting a customer base, this is an internal focus thing. But it is based kind of on our learnings from the previous two stories. So what we found for some of our production facilities is, whilst we have a lot of instrumentations, we have PLC systems, we're capturing a lot of data. We're not leveraging that data to help us on our operations and helping with insights onto any issues that are occurring on the shop floor. What tends to happen is that we report these things on a monthly basis. It's very manual, it's in spreadsheets. Does this sound like the previous two use cases to you? Yeah, so having learned from the previous two, we thought we'd apply the same sort of idea internally. So in some of our facilities around the world, we're generating all this data, we send it to the cloud, we join it with our ERP data to get the production order information, we join it with our manufacturing bill of materials, and from that we can give insights to different layers of people throughout the business. So first of all, at operator level, we can see the alerts for things we call OEE impact. So the overall equipment effectiveness, things like availability, quality, and throughput. Moving up to supervisor level, we can flag any issues and get the right person at the right time to go and resolve them. Beyond that, though, we can also compare across facilities as well. So we can look at things like, what is our best performing product at one facility compared to another one, and maybe look at a best practice sharing. Why are they doing that better? Likewise, we can then use the same sort of idea and load balance between one facility and another based on this operational generated data. Should we go to the lesson slide?
Absolutely. So we've all heard about IT and OT convergence. But what does it mean? Lots of times it actually means connecting worlds that haven't been talking before. Not only on a device level, not only on a network level, but also organizationally. They were separated for a long time for a reason. And now we actually suddenly have to tear down organizational silos and establish cross-discipline teams. So you can imagine in our organization, both worlds learned a lot from each other. And while historically at Sulzer, IT was more of a group, top-down, centrally driven organization, and OT more of a locally, bottom-up driven organization, we basically established a federated operating model where we keep things like governance, architecture centrally, but still have a very local-driven support and operations organization. Now, combining these three case studies together, what were the key learnings for us? I think one big recognition is digitalization means everybody is an information worker. Having access to data, having access to information, having access to dashboards, reports, data storytelling, that's not anymore a thing for an elite few people. Everybody needs to have actionable insights at their fingertips when they need them. And while we think Industry 4.0 initiatives kind of nailed down creating the foundation for effective data capturing, data processing, leveraging insights from data, and even automating processes, we really truly believe that these capabilities need to be centered around humans and about the decisions they have to make. So when are they making which decision, which process? What information do they need? At which time? In which format? And who do they call when this little flashy thinging here goes red? It's not Ghostbusters. So for us, the integration is key, integrating it with the humans, centering it around decision making. So it's not humans versus machines, it's humans and machines. We've all heard that. We still believe in it. And also integrating into wider ecosystems across value chains. So integrating with our suppliers and integrating with our customers is key to really leverage the value of data. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.